Okay, just going to go through a quick tutorial video just following on from my last tutorial video, which was using the Wi-Fi extender and also configuring your tablet or phone to work with a controller using an OTG cable. Now we're just going to look at both AR Pro3 and the Free Flight. So let's just go into Free Flight Pro. This is can be a little confusing purely because if you don't have a controller connected, you don't get the option to map a controller. So you actually have to have a controller fitted. So all we do for this to actually, first of all, we need to connect the controller to your phone. So you click this button on the right, you're then given this option, connect your remote control. So if we click that, obviously we can now see that we've got Sony Computer Entertainment Wireless Controller is connected. So let's select that. This is where it gives you the option to map. So just quickly, it's as simple as selecting which option you'd like. So for instance, takeoff and landing. Click that and the icon flashes. At this stage is waiting for some input from yourself. So let's just for instance click it to this button. It's now changed to the corresponding button map. Stop flashing. So let me just put that back to as we were, otherwise next time I'm flying that will confuse me. So there we go, that's gone back like so. Very straightforward. You can then configure exactly what you want. One of the most useful functions of this I found is, obviously other than giving you a lot more finer control, is this camera tilt option. I found this really quite helpful because you can actually control the camera nice and smoothly, and it gives you a lot more you can operate the camera at a lot slower speed rather than, I think previously it's set so you on the controller you can click it using the top hat, these controllers here, the four-way controller, but it goes in steps, so it's not nice and smooth, it will jump, which can be quite distracting. So that's quite a helpful one, and I've got this set to use one of the shoulder buttons and then this, so you press and hold and then you can control the camera using that, let go, and then you regain altitude and obviously your control as well. So that is the Parrot offering. So if we come out of there and let's just have a look at AR Pro3. This is a bit simpler to say. You don't actually need a controller fitted to actually see the options. So once we're in here, go into your settings, and then if you scroll all the way to the bottom and under input settings, lots of different options here about how you want it set up, and then if we scroll all the way down, there we go, joystick key bindings, exactly the same routine. So we'll do the same thing, take off land button, so click that, it's then asking you to map a button, so let's do the same thing, press the PlayStation button and then it's mapped. Very straightforward, and again pretty much the same as the Parrot software. The only difference with this is it comes obviously with that option. It also gives you the option to insert your phone into a VR headset, so you can go first person. You have to be a bit careful with that because obviously you're losing the ability to actually spot your device while it's flying, and obviously by law it has to be line of sight. So ideally, if you're going to go first person flying, you need a spotter, you need somebody there with you to actually make sure you're not going to run into any power lines that are obviously behind you or next to you, and obviously first person is very difficult to see that, if not impossible, so you have to be careful with that. So AR Pro3 does give you that option that you can do that. It also gives you the option that you can create a flight plan, so that enables you to basically pick a position and then it enables you can either have as a point of interest, so the camera will point at that area, or you can have it so that it actually flies there. And again, you can adjust the speed and the altitude, like so, and how long it stays there. So we can add that. We can then move on to the next area. So we want it to fly to here, so we'll have a waypoint, and again do that. And we can also you can direct the camera, so you can actually click and position how the camera is orientated, so you can actually point it down or point it up, and also you can have it so it points sideways. This is always a bit tricky because you kind of have to click on this little arrow and point it. Can't do it with one hand, but yeah, basically what you do is you click on the arrow, or you drag the arrow, I should say. I'm useless at it. It's a lot easier on a larger tablet. But anyway, you can point the arrow whichever way you want, and the camera will point that direction and do that. So, and we can also, for instance, we can click here, and we can actually have that as a point of interest. So that will then orientate towards that point of interest, and that will maintain that. So that's quite good. And also, I mean, this option is available via the Free Flight Pro, but I think it's about £15 for that. Whereas I think this was I think it was £10. You got all these options, plus also, which is another thing which drew me towards this, was the fact that this also comes with Follow Me. So it will basically follow the position of the tablet or your phone, as long as it's GPS enabled. That is fine, and Free Flight Pro offers that, but only to Parrot Bebop 2 owners. The Parrot Bebop 1 does not get that option, but with this AR Pro3 you do get that option as well. So it works quite nicely. I've never had any problems with it, and it's the developer of this seems to be, if you have any problems, he's very, very quick to answer any questions. And yeah, so far very impressed with it. But if all you're looking to do is map your buttons of your controller, either AR Pro3 or Free Flight Pro will do exactly the same thing. So hopefully this has been helpful.